Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickel is a psychic medium, numerologist, healer, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there is always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickel.
Hello. I'm knocking my lamp here. Hello. A trip in the light fantastic, as Colin says. I just did that. So, hello everybody coming on in. I see we have some people already here. Just want to open this space. Hello, Evelyn. Oh yes, Colin is a very special guest. He comes always with loads of light and candor and just fun nature, uplifting nature. Hello, Carol. Hello, Brenda. Hello, CJ. And as everybody comes in, please, hello. Hello, Maggie. Hello, Charlene and Jennifer McCormick. Hello, Jennifer Rose. Thank you for the love, everybody. So we'll put up the chat box for a little bit. So we are doing the Psychic Hour interview show. Please come in and join the discussion. We'll be talking about a lot of different topics, channeling, mediumship, cosmic beings, the energetic nature of this year, and the energies with how they're expressing themselves. Please share how you're feeling. Please share your musings. That's the whole point of this style of format, for you to be a part of the show. We love to hear your comments. So I'm going to talk just for a moment and then we'll get Colin on here in a jiffy. Jennifer, I love you too. Thank you, Jennifer. Hello, Melissa from New Zealand. Hi, Bernadette. Hello. Yes. Thank you for bringing Carol, Evelyn. I appreciate that. Thank you. So we kind of opened the space again, additionally, from the hellos into a topic of sorts. And I don't know why, but I'm really inspired to talk about the energy of smells and the energy of particles, I want to say. So we live in this wave particle-based reality, and some of us have really sensitive noses, and we get to experience how we uptake the universe. In a way, we're doing this all the time, whether or not we do realize it. But what is your sensation of your environment? Whether it is your neighborhood, your house, your apartment, your room, your clothes, the essence of you. What particles are you uptaking? I know that it's going to be different depending on the day, sure. But what assisters do you have around you to transmute your nature, your state, your energy, your environment? I have definite helpers, and it's very important, especially when it comes to healing. I find to have them around me and on me, but every day, absolutely too, as well. So I'll just share kind of mine. It's funny. It kind of came up when we were on Jennifer Rose's show, Embracing Affinity. We're talking about roses and the essence of rose petals. And so I have rose water here. I flashed that before. And I spray that in the air, and sometimes it makes a huge change and sometimes it makes a slight change. I also have thieves here. And this is a mixture of cinnamon, lemon, clove, eucalyptus, rosemary. I think that's it. Did I miss something? I think that's it. But it's made to detoxify the air. It's also just like a wonderful, almost natural essential oil scent. And it really does elevate how I feel. When I am doing energetic healing work, if I can, always have this on me because it purifies the air and it evens things out to baseline. I also have here, it kind of just magically appeared one day, and I just go, I guess you're here now. It was in my room, but I don't know why I put it here. I have some lavender, and usually I'm not called to have lavender around, but lavender is with me. And then I have a bunch of other things, eucalyptus by itself, lovely, lovely things, other essential oils, but it really does change the way that I feel. I have quite a sensitive nose. I have quite a sensitive disposition. I have a lot of salt in this room. I have a lot of salt too as well, and I can smell salt in the air, and it is amazing. I always appreciate it when I walk into this room. So however way you need to balance, purify, or just bring more of life back to the sensation of what you're experiencing, because it will perk you up. That cinnamon perks me up right away. That salt makes me more acute. Find something that shifts the way that you move, shifts the way that your energy experiences life. And your nose is such a primal part of your human body. It will really get you in the right direction. So whatever the sense is, could be the color that wakes you up, a little bit of red, right? Or a beautiful type of instrument or melody. Really, really know that it is so vital, these parts to ourselves. So very vital. They are limbs of our own nature. So I give you a lot of love and heart in that assertion. And I'm going to definitely say hello to people in the comments, and we're going to bring in Colin. So hello, Marlene. Hello, Marlene. Hello, Lynn. Hello, Tracy. Let's see here. Hello, Jeffrey. Thank you for stopping on by. And yes, Carol again. Evelyn's very excited. Thank you for bringing Carol. All right. Oh, and Robin, hello. Hello, Robin. Without further ado, let's bring in Colin. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for inviting me. Oh, brilliant. There we go. Hello, everybody.
You know, your energy helped lead this. We talked about last year doing a couple of things, and my energy just splintered. And so your energy is really holding us together right now, Colin. So I am very happy to join you.
Oh, they're here. That's the issue, as always.
Yes. People are
Jennifer.
saying hello.
Jennifer Mack. Oh, she's put an alien on.
That is your signature. Maggie
hello,
saying hello.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yes, please come and say hello. And let me introduce you properly. For everyone who knows, yes, for everyone who knows Colin or is just learning about him, Colin Walker is the founder of the Menorca Consciousness Group and has experienced a complete energetic shift into the light. He has encountered and embraced the light of angels and celestial beings through a profound transformation process and the realization of the emptiness of awareness. Colin understands the pure concept of living a meaningful life, and he is committed to assisting in advancing people's spiritual awareness and development to be a channel for the light. Welcome, Colin.
Oh, thank you so much for cutting that in half.
Hey, it's you. I don't want to cut you in half, but I think that is a good piece of you.
Hi, Jennifer. We love you too. Thank you so much. It's lovely to have you. Lynn. Hi, Lynn. Linda. Oh, Jennifer Mack. Thank you. Anyway.
Yes. Ooh, My computer is
Jerry,
acting
hi,
funny for a
Jerry.
second. It was
And Robin.
the,
I've got to say
the
somebody. I've got to say hello to Robin as well for some reason. Hi, Robin. And
yeah, Robin's here. Robin, where are you, Robin? Robin Shapiro.
there she is. For some
Here.
reason, somebody wanted to say hello to her.
Linda, Sherry, Emily, and
Hi, Emily.
Tanya as well. Hello,
Tonya.
everybody. Thank you
Tonya,
for your good vibes.
this should be
So
interesting.
let's get into it, Colin. Oh, hey, go.
No. I'm just looking at Tonya's comment. This should be interesting. Hopefully, Tonya.
I hope so. Hello, Michelle. Hello. So,
Charlene, dear. Yeah.
What is on the top of the dome for you? There's so much energetic shift going on. There's so much energetic intensity. What comes to mind with what's going on lately?
Interesting you should ask that, Kelly, because while I was waiting in the back of the studio, I kind of went in a little bit. I thought, okay, I need to go in and ascend slightly. And the first thing what was placed in my awareness was the soul. This is really, I think, the year where the soul is really going to start expanding and coming to the purity of the soul, the light of the soul, is going to be pushing all the barriers, all the obstacles, physically, mentally, emotionally, on all levels, energetically, from the center point within us out. And anything what's in its way has got to come off. So there's going to be a lot of peeling of the layers. We know we're coming out. I don't like really mentioning it, but if we go with the New Year Chinese aspect, peeling the layers of the skin, but it's more than that. It's so much more. So I think the word, what we're looking at for this year is definitely the soul is awakening. Well, the soul is already awake, but it's going to come to the conscious part of our awareness as we step out from the 3D to the other dimensions and expand, so on. But it's going to have a very profound effect on a lot of people, as we're witnessing in the last couple of days. This cosmic wave, what's in at the moment, has really connected deeply and profoundly with a lot of people, and they've encountered a very intense shift of their energies, physically and emotionally. So there's been quite an outpouring and inner transformation taking place. And we can clearly put it to the light of the soul really starting to emanate now and shines. We're light beings. We are beings of light. And like you said in the introduction, we are somewhere a mix of wave and particle reality. We don't really have a form to us. It's only when we lower our frequency of consciousness that the physical body appears to our awareness, appears to our mind. When we expand and move beyond those frequencies of awareness at this stage, then we'll see the nature of reality in its particle wave-like form and beyond and further to the point of emptiness. So we're looking. I think what we're looking at is the number one priority is to protect the mind, to manage our energies as best as we can. We're going to encounter extremely intense waves of energies which are coming from the cosmos. And that's going to really, it's not the correct way, but it's going to really blast out the energy of our soul and bring it to the conscious mind. Because the soul, we haven't ignored it or left behind. We know there's a lot of soul work. And we know when we develop spiritually, we're working with some vibration of our soul, some frequency of that energy. But now the deep stuff's coming for this year and probably the next coming 3 to 5 years, maximum 5 years maybe. But in this period of time, initially, as we're going through these weeks and months ahead, I think a lot of people are going to realize and have a lot of deep realizations of truth, which they haven't probably been aware of previously.
There's a lot of changes that we've gone through energetically that have felt intense over the years, but they've all been slightly different in their constitution. And there's so much talk about going from 3D to 5D. And I really like to open up the discussion now that a lot of us are conscious of what 5D somewhat means. We're not stopping there. We're multidimensional beings. And the more we start to bridge and connect and to be able to bring some of this consciousness forward, we're going into, 7D, 9D, 13D. And we are, a facet of the totality of the universe. And you said something just a moment ago, to protect our minds as we transform. Forgive me for paraphrasing that word, but to protect our minds as this change happens.
Yeah, totally, Kelly. It's as we go from when we understand the third D, because we're only just, it's quite interesting because we barely understand the third dimension. It wasn't really taught and we're talking about the third dimension. So we've got to transition through the fourth dimension, and few people are discussing the fourth dimension. For some reason, it's getting skipped. I don't know why, but it is what it is.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, in the 50, and I totally agree with you. There's moments where the conscious mind can sense and attune to other dimensions, 5th, 7th, 12th, etc. It can momentarily attune. My understanding is this process what's taking place is going to allow us to embody X amount of dimensions consciously on a everyday basis. So we'll reach a point where we're not tripping in and out of them as such. We will become them, and we'll be speaking from them. That's why when we're talking about channeling, when we bring channeling into the kind of space, then what we're looking at with channeling is channeling frequencies of consciousness from a higher state of awareness. So we're looking at consciousness itself moving, if we like, in an ascended fashion, initially an ascended fashion to higher frequencies of our own awareness, and our own awareness connected and being infinite awareness. So It's getting really, we're living in very, very exceptional times.
Yes, infinite awareness. So the potential is as far as we can imagine. My goodness, it's supposed to be mind-boggling. I think that's what makes us us. To be connected to that void, be connected to sometimes even the human nature of fear, like what is beyond this? What part comes forward from this? What are we going to experience from this? And it's funny that what comes to mind really quick, but and I'll keep that in my head as I just for a moment say hello to Grace Grella. Hello, Grace. It's wonderful to see you. And Michael Christopher, he says he's listening in. And everyone else, Gary and Rosaline and Michelle, thank you. I see you. Allison, Ashraf, thank you. You are seen, and we are going to include your comments in just a moment. So it's interesting. We're in this space of discovering who we really are, as you were pinpointing. And also I was talking about a place of fear, and in jest, it reminds me of the concept of what we experience in love. We start to open up to these different parts of ourselves. We start to have more empathy. We start to have experiences of what's really possible, and we think, oh, it's because of this other person, or somebody we idolize, or somebody, it doesn't have to be romantic. It's somebody we look up to, and they bring out these parts of ourselves. And really, we're just experiencing what's possible with the totality of who we are, and it's just being projected forward in the image of another until we experience it, and we're experiencing it.
Totally.
And that's why I thought it was kind of funny. You know, fear made me think of it. Anyway, where are we going? What is this?
Well, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because part of the question is, what are we doing here? What's going on?
Yeah.
And none of us have got the entire answer at the moment. We've got pieces of the jigsaw. My understanding is, in its initial form, we know we are light beings, or beings of light, and we are also beings of awareness. We are awareness itself. And when we give our focus to something, an object, a person, etc., that is a reflection of the infinite whole, so to speak. Yet we can clearly say, and if I may, and this might, it'll do what it'll do. In effect, we're emptiness itself. We are emptiness, and yet we fill ourselves up. We even fill ourselves up with spiritual teachings and spiritual information. And if we hang on to them, then we're containing energy again. So we need to be this very clear channel, because when we look at ourselves as forms of energy, we move past that to a state of formlessness. And it just happens to be that an aspect of our consciousness is inhabiting this plane of existence. And in that, we associate with time, dimensions, etc. It's likely in the future, we will probably dissolve all concept of dimensions. We're just clinging to dimensional space to help pull us forward, if you like, to understand the nature of reality. We're using mediumship. I mean, the big message behind mediumship has not always been the message to a recipient. The big message of mediumship has been the spiritual teachings to get us to understand reality and the nature of all things, not just earthly nature, the trees and grass and oceans, but the cosmic nature and our presence in the cosmos. So this is really expansive.
How do you, as you say that, I visualize like God or the intelligence of the universe or the cosmic nature of I am or we. It's almost like, we're sending a file. We're sending the file of consciousness, and it's too big, so we have to compress it, right?
Yeah.
And we compress it to send the message. So it's like sending an email. Okay, let's get this kind of bulked in place, and then let's send the message across. And the message has to be received right now in a certain dimensional space for us to receive it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's like we are ascending to catch information. And in the catching of information, that assists in us in ourselves ascending further. But this concept of ascension, I think we should be slightly mindful, because in effect, my understanding again is what's actually taking place. When we make a reference, and we'll come back to the basics, when we make a reference to a spiritual awakening, where some form of layer is peeled away from us, and where we was blind, we start to see. The actual spiritual awakening is an expansion of our psyche. It's a shift outwards. Now, when we say the psyche, in effect, what it is, it's the soul, it's the mind, it's consciousness. So our consciousness is expanding, and in so doing, it's expanding in all directions, not just in an ascended fashion. So we know when we open up to spirit, we can imagine ourselves expanding and spirit will come in. When we wish to channel, we can ascend or open up further. but it's a complete peripheral aspect. It's in all directions to the point where it becomes non-directional. We've moved beyond directional. So when we're talking about an awakening, we're actually expanding in all directions, because we're tuning in or sensing and energies, as we call them, and we can say light. We're tuning to light, and as that light connects to our energy field, then there's a transformation taking place, and we expand further. And in doing so, that's where we can say we are channels of light. We are channels of energy. And we can start to lose the attachment we have to aspects of the physical world, the aspects where we're attached to our physical body in all sorts of ways, on very, very subtle levels. Attachment to our mind and our emotions, our thoughts, our opinions, we're attached to them. And that what the light is informing us of, or reflecting to us, is we must transform that what we're attached to. We must let go of all attachment, because that's the cause of our issues. So in this process of what we call awakening, that transformation is taking place. So we go, okay, I'm a channel. If there is an I, well, in this case, people say I am a channel. I'm channeling energy. Okay, what we're doing with that energy? Well, are we using it to transform old energies and bring that light into being? And therefore, there's what we can refer to as progress. But I think we're also at this point where, well, I don't think it's clear that we're at this moment in evolution, where this transformation is really reflecting back to us that we are literally cosmic beings. We are beings of the cosmos, in all directions, etc. And we are not just in this physical form. We are a multitude, like you said, Kelly. We're a multitude of other forms. We have the ethereal body, the light body, the emotional body, etc., the soul body, etc. There's so many other forms to us, which is a massive energy in their own, with their own soul of energy.
We have so many different forms, and you can even argue we live in different dimensions. That's why a lot of people experience like going home. Once you leave the earth realm, you go home to a different dimension, and then you can go somewhere else. And that concept of heaven or home or the other side, that's a different dimension in itself, and we would have to exist and have a different type of consciousness. And as we develop these parts of ourselves, we have to protect our emotions, our mind, our bodies, because we're shattering what we're used to, and making space for something maybe very natural. But at first, we are lifting up the fog of what we've been told is natural. So I don't know. I toggle between how natural should it feel and how unnatural should it feel, because it's a very trippy experience of all of a sudden we're aware of not just ourselves, but maybe we're aware of other people's thoughts, other people's emotions, other people's energy, like the telepathic connection that really does exist.
Yes.
So naturally, when you're in the energetic state, and the more that we get into different dimensions, we start to have experiences where we are questioning our own sanity and questioning what things mean. So it gets very beautiful, but terrifying. And for people who are not even having those questions, undoubtedly there is just uncomfortableness. And I want to say, and Colin, I would love to hear your views on this. When it comes to Earth, uncomfortableness is part of the equation, and it's getting really uncomfortable in some parts right now. And please, everybody, like, hang in there as we sort things out. All of us are confused, no matter how much we act like we're not. We are all confused on what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, Do you feel a sense of clarity with the confusion, or where are you at, or what do you want to share with everybody with that notion?
This is a exceptionally poignant statement. What you're saying, Kelly, exceptionally, because we're asking the question, what is happening on this planet, and as an extension of that, we are questioning who we are, what our role is, and what's happening to us. So we know that we know clearly there's an awakening. Then from the awakening, there's a transformation, and then we can mix it with the multidimensional beings of who we are. What we really what is really beneficial to experience is what is referred to as clear light. We're trying to achieve clear light, because in that clear light, it will give us clarity. And in that clarity, we can make sense of this, what appears to be chaos in the world at this moment. So we'll kind of shift this slightly, if that's okay, because the chaos is only appearing to the mind, what's carrying lots of various energies within it. So once they're dissolved, and you mentioned the shadow, once the shadow work is done, clarity comes. It's a bit like, we can liken it to a room. It's filled with many things and many objects, and those objects represent our thoughts and emotions within this room, what we call our space, our body, but also our field of energy. It's these objects, thoughts and emotions, are within our field of energy. So we need to transform them, and in that transformation, we're taking them out of the room, and the room becomes clear. So we're trying to achieve clear space. From that clear space, we can then, to a point, and I'm being very careful here, we can then almost have a cosmic view of the planet. Not so much an overview, but we can get a cosmic multidimensional view, because at that moment we're placing ourselves not in the physical, even though we're intricately linked and within the physical body. Our awareness is expanded to the point of where we're understanding the picture of what's going on. So from that, we can say, okay, individuals are clearing their own energy field, and that's coming out to the surface, that's going out to the external. And we can also say collectively, as whatever form, cosmic form we are collectively, which may just simply be a single particle somewhere in the cosmos. And when you go into that particle, you see all the individual aspects, which is us in that. And you go, okay, so what we're doing, what we've got here is not so much, or not clearing on its own. We've got an entire transformation of what we perceive, or what people generally perceive as the physical planet, the earth, and physical body on the earth. So in order to make sense of it, we've got to move beyond that. We've got to move our conscious mind way beyond that perception, and then say, this is a cosmic event. It's a collective event, not just an individual event, but it's also something else. We're not actually existing on a physical plane, on a physical body, as in the earth itself. We're actually existing on a plane of existence. And when we view life on the planet as a plane of existence, it makes it all more manageable and simple internally for people. And this is why cosmic beings and spiritual beings have, for many years, have been trying to get the message across: protect your mind and manage your energies. And with that, meditate. And stillness is one of the biggest help in order to understand and make sense of things. Because often people are trying to understand things where the mind is still chaotic and filled with lots of thoughts, distractions, everyday aspects going on. So we need to move our consciousness, or it's beneficial to move the consciousness beyond our earthly thoughts and our earthly mind, and go to those beautiful higher, what's called higher frequencies. They're not higher, they're actually just finer frequencies, the faster frequencies. And when we take our mind to that position of cosmic understanding, so to speak, and I'm not by any means saying I've got a cosmic view on this, what I am saying is, when we truly become the light, then all this, what appears as seemingly chaos on the planet, changes to our awareness, changes to our perception, it changes its appearance to us. We can say, yes, it appears chaos. But if we look at it from a cosmic point, we can say the cosmos is in perfect order and it knows exactly what it's doing. And every grain of sand is accounted for and measured. So every particle, what seems to be chaotic, is measured and calculated according to cosmic order, which for some people I get is too much to kind of grasp and go, woof, this is way too much. But unless we get to that point, it won't make sense to us because we're involved in it, we're in it. And therefore we can't see the wood for the trees.
It's very much the adage, right. You got to keep going. You got to keep going until you get through it. There's a saying, I kind of almost didn't want to say it, but think of it as metaphorical. If you're going through hell, keep on going. So the point is not to stay. And once you are on the other side of it, it becomes more clear. And you talked about, for clarity and to bring in the light, you have to have clear space. Yeah. And a lot of us are becoming much more sensitive to the concept of clearing our space, and how important that is, because we seemed all, and I think that's what's going on largely, we're all so very mixed up.
Yeah. There's a massive confusion at the minute.
We're also mixed up, tripping over each other, and then some of us with good intentions are caught up with, the bad intentions. Some of us with bad intentions are getting caught up within the good. We're all entangled. We're also, things are very busy right now. And if you're not adept or used to knowing your space or clearing your space, it will quickly fill up with little pockets of other people. And sometimes those pockets, no matter how wonderful the person is, you could pick up something that feels very uncomfortable to you.
Yeah.
Even if you like them. I don't know. I mean, politically, we're not going to go into politics, but politically, globally, family-wise, friendship-wise, you could say past life-wise, because, fourth dimension, there is no time, and there is really the concept of space. There's no space, or what we know of time and space is very different. I'm just going to say like that. So we have all these things collapsing on each other, and it's just like we have to carve away with our consciousness, and we individually have to pioneer that for each one of our individual natures, or we will get collapsed on in the cosmic nature of we're all connected. I mean, it's just like we'll get ambulanched on of this is overwhelming, or what this person's doing over here, I can feel it. Whoa.
Yeah.
Way.
Totally correct. Totally. 100%, Kelly. We've got to, it's important. I mean, we don't get told this. I mean, it's slightly easier now, but it's important from day one when somebody awakens is to accept the event. They need to accept it as quickly as possible, because that's saying there's a lot of time wasted on what's happening, why me, etc. It's like, just accept it. You need to try and get inside and accept it. Must protect the mind. How can we protect the mind? And this applies to everybody at the moment. Not get drawn into dramas, not just be mindful and watchful and aware of where the mind is getting distracted, because distractions are constantly bombarding the mind, and that weighs heavy. That becomes a burden. So it's like, okay, that's a distraction to me. I need to move away from it. I need to take my focus or my mind or my energy away from it. And once we do several aspects, protecting the mind, removing ourselves from dramas and distractions, etc., at that point, or somewhere in that space, is walking with spiritual beings, because they know best. We need spiritual beings next to us more than ever now, especially on the planet we know, but more than ever. So it's like, okay, so I need to refine my attunement to these wonderful beings what are offering their assistance and help and guidance to me. Don't go left, go right. Don't go that way, go this way. But it almost in every moment. Now, I know some people will likely agree with me, some won't, but I'm going to say it. We can't determine the time when spirit and these cosmic beings help us and go, that's it, I've had enough for the day. But when we need them, we call on them. It's totally incorrect, because we're in a moment in evolution where we need their presence at all times around us as much as we possibly can. So in that whole space, we go, okay, no distractions, no dramas. I'm protecting my mind straight away. Now we're left with a relatively clear light. Okay, I need to do the inner work. I've got traumas from the past. I've got things I need to look at. So we do self-analysis. We do our own life review while we're in the physical body. And we start the transformation process. And then the light's getting brighter. The light is the thing what protects us. So the brighter our light is shining, the more protection we've got anyway, because we're emanating. So there's less chance of any opposing energies getting in, because our light's just going to transform them in the periphery of our auric field, so to speak. So you go, okay, I'm in quite a good space here. And then we must, and it's a complete must for me, for everybody to grab this one and kind of look at it and understand it. Cosmic waves are sweeping across the planet, sweeping across the cosmos, the universe, and the planet. And these waves are literally like an ocean, the waves in an ocean. Now, previously, 30 years ago, these waves would come in every 2 years, and there'd be a space in between. Then after 20 years, they'd be down to about 18 months, 12 months. And then 10 years, 8 years ago, they start coming in every 9 months, etc. Now what we're looking at is these waves are actually coming in almost on a daily basis now. So everybody's energies are wobbling and moving. So how do we stay aligned? Well, what Spirit's informing us is just be. Feel the beingness. Come back into the moment. Bring the mind to the moment. And in any given moment, we can then deal with energies as they're moving. If we need to counteract something, our mind will do it. It'll inform us. Our intuition will guide us. If we need to lay down and rest, if we're feeling lethargic and flattened, just rest. Don't move. Go into neutral. Press pause when it's needed. Don't do the old way. I'll keep going. I'll keep going. I'll keep going. Because we can't resist this cosmic event. It's impossible. What else it's doing is something exceptional in its own form. When we're talking about expanding our consciousness in all directions, as multidimensional beings, we're now in the process, and we're well in this now. This started many years ago. We are actually in what's called a psychic abyss.
Sure.
And by being into this kind of, it's like a spiral of cosmic energy, and we're in it. We're going down into it. And we're going further into it. Now, I don't want to frighten anybody, because there's a fairy tale ending to this, but it doesn't seem like it at the minute. In this psychic abyss is everything what you've just described, Kelly. We're picking up other people's energies. We're telepathically tuning into all types of energies and frequencies, okay? And it's having an impact on us. So you go, okay, if we are entering a psychic abyss, what does it mean? It means this physical body, these other bodies, this field of energy is entering into some kind of vortex of energy, and it's sucking us down. So then you go, why is it sucking us down? What's going on? What's really going on here? When we hear the word portal, we could, en masse, as a collective on the planet, with the help of spiritual beings and cosmic guides, we could actually be opening a cosmic portal beyond all imagination. It's very possible at this time. And we're feeling the density of it. We're feeling the contraction of it. So we've got, okay, it appears to be chaos. And Spirit is saying, no, be still. Just still your mind, be still in the middle of the tornado, like the eye of a tornado. While all this swirling massive energy is taking place, it's important that we still our mind. It's okay doing mediumship, but mediumship's not a performance. It's just an aspect of who we are. We don't need to grasp mediumship. We don't need to grasp trance or channeling. We don't need to grasp any of that. When they're in and we're doing it, we do it. When they're not, we don't.
Oh, he just left. Colin, where are you? When you're in it, you're in it. When I think he said when you're something, you don't. And then he left. I was taking in what he said. But Colin, where are you? He'll come back. I definitely want to take some questions because of the nature of this discussion. A lot of people were asking questions about what that looks like, what it means. Yes, he teleported, Lynn. Let's bring it back. I think he just came back. So, Colin, I'm going to have you finish what you're saying, but then let's take some questions as well. People are very in need of some perspective. He's in the portal. He's in the portal.
It's gone through the portal.
He's come through the portal.
It's important.
He's an immortal coming through the portal. That's lyrics from a song. I didn't make that up.
Oh, yes. I'll be back. Sorry, guys. I just had to. I had to check the other side of that spiral, see what was going on.
What did you say before you left? You're like, when we're doing it, we're doing it, and you're something like when we're not. I don't know. And then that's when you.
Oh, that was it. I've got it.
Wrong, Tanya. Wrong door, Colin.
Classic. Oh, that's me all over, Tonya. Also, hi, Jill.
Hello. And hello, Nancy up top, and Miguel. Hello.
Hi, Miguel. Lovely to have you with us, Miguel. So, yeah, it's like we've got to, it's coming into the moment, or not even coming into the moment, it's just being now with our consciousness right now. And we know that means leaving the past where it is, leaving the future where it is, just being here and now, and not grasping. Our grasping's got us into so much trouble. You know, I like that dress. I like that car. I'm grasping it. You know, I like my mediumship. You know, I like my trance. And we grasp. And we're just filling ourselves up. And Spirit are constantly saying, guys, look, please, empty yourselves and never fill up again. We've landed on the planet and we've filled ourselves up. And when we're looking at all the wonderful abilities of trance, mediumship, channeling, etc., the reason why they are not clear and totally pure is because something's blocking the channel. And that something is our thoughts and emotions, our energy, what we're filled up within us. And we know the more we empty ourselves, and the clearer the channel becomes, and the clearer the channel becomes, the clearer the communication becomes, whether it's healing, mediumship, or channeling or trance. So we've got to be cautious when we're so much more than what we think we are, in so much as all these wonderful abilities, and I absolutely love them, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love them. They're so magnetic and there's so much light in conjunction and connected with them. But with respect, all these abilities, such as trance, such as channeling, such as mediumship, they're simply rungs on the ladder of our own enlightened state of awareness. And we know there's so much more we're discovering now. When we meditate, the depth of profound of beauty, what we feel and sense, ascending our consciousness to other planes and other dimensions and other realms, and communicating with all these wonderful cosmic beings out there, is phenomenal. And I think that's where we're at the minute. So, and it's all connected to the soul expanding. Anyway.
There seems to be a reoccurring theme here where we need to empty our space, clear what we have taken on, our beliefs, our blockages of the body, mind, spirit, emotion. We've become too burdened, and we are so very uncomfortable because of that. There's a theme here. I find it interesting. All right. Let's go to some questions. There are some really good questions asked. Let me read some of them, and you tell me which one piques your interest. I'm going to go to the very beginning. Evelyn asks, how do you know when you're actually in different dimensions? Another one is, how and why is this happening with the dimensional changes and the frequency changes? Another person is, what should you do with it when it's happening? Grace, to expand on the question, what is this teaching me? Oh yeah, Tanya, she was saying, how do we move through this? How do we move through that?
Okay.
And also, what are the signs of distraction? And then the final question, I just have acknowledged some of the main questions. Miguel, how can we identify within our energy where the frequency is coming from? Okay, so you take your pick. We're going to try to go to all of them.
Yeah, let's start with the first one, which was it Evelyn, I believe? I'm just looking for it.
Yeah, I'll tag it. I'll tag it for you.
If you will, please.
Yes, here we go.
Okay, how do we know? Oh, hang on, my screen's. Sorry, Kelly. Was it how do you know where you're
how
actually?
Do you know
when you're actually? Yeah, is that right? How do you know when you're in a different? When you're actually in a different dimension, or I can't see that last one.
Dimensions. Mm-hmm.
How do you know? Well, we can say initially two things, and I'm going to keep these answers very short. You will sense it, Evelyn. Your awareness will inform you. Well, let's just refine this correctly. We are consciousness itself in the periphery of awareness. So our consciousness attunes to an aspect of awareness. Okay, and it's a bit like if you imagine a small, I don't know, like a ball bearing or a small dot or something, which is like a speck of light in the center or somewhere in the middle of a spiral, surrounded by a spiral of energy. And that speck of light is our consciousness, and the spiral is awareness itself. So what happens is, in any given moment, our consciousness attunes to a frequency of our awareness, and our awareness then informs us of where we are and what's going on. Okay, as conscious, and that's where we say we are conscious beings. So when we move our conscious mind to other dimensions, then we will have the awareness, the frequency of, at that point of our awareness, will inform us that we are in a different dimension. Okay, so the best way to find out, and I'm sure this is going to be a similar answer to some of the other questions, the best way to find this out is to try and because that'll add to it, that'll add to more confusion. The best way to find this out is to try and enter into not just your own stillness, but the clear mind within you. Because what happens when we've got clarity, we can sense the different frequencies, we can sense the different dimensions, we can sense the different realms, and we can then, from that sensing, define and discern the difference between them, if that makes sense. So what we're trying to achieve here, and when do we know? We'll know, and we must go with our intuition. But I'm cautious using the word intuition, because with respect, intuition isn't what a lot of people think it is. Intuition is our first thought. But our first thought now on this vibration of awareness is a lot different when we've got the clarity of awareness and intuition and the frequency of the intuition of that clear awareness. So there's different frequencies of intuition. What we're trying to achieve is pure intuition. And once we achieve pure intuition, we can define every frequency around us and the environment, etc. we'll know which is our thoughts, which is somebody else's, which is this physical reality and what's a different reality, etc., different realm dimension, and so on and so on. That's the quick version. Good question, Evelyn.
No, it's a beautiful question. Ooh, there's feedback here. I'm going to mute you when I talk. I think that's going to help with that. There wasn't feedback until, you went through that portal. But I hold on a second. What were you saying, Colin?
No, that's all right. I realized it was when I went through the portal, when I went off.
Yes. So I'll have to toggle the button just in case. But yeah, just to answer you, Evelyn, too, I think we're potentially in multiple different dimensions, and we sometimes go, what's that? Or why does this feel like this? And our senses, because Colin was talking about senses, it's for us to make sense of things. So don't take your senses for granted. Get really curious. And traditionally, a place for us to develop dimensional understanding, because mediumship is working with beings from different dimensions that we are yet still connected to and still a part of us. We sit in the power, we sit in a place of meditation, and we become very attuned to understanding what a certain type of energetic quality is. So when you have experiences with certain energetic qualities, then you can translate certain, you could argue dimensional energy or states of being or states of energy, and it will help you notice shifts. And then you can start to look at that on a deeper level with some confidence of, I'm sensing something shifting. Okay, here it is. Here's the shift. And we're still learning kind of like what that is, but it's an energetic nature that is quite different. There's contrast. So anyway, that's my take on it. Let's go to another question. Okay. So Tani, really quick, feels subjective. Intuition can be, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be connected to a truth, the oneness. What do you think on that, Colin?
I like this. Okay, so,
Ooh,
because this is one of my favorite, not just ways, one of my, well, I think it's probably one of the most important aspects of humanity's consciousness, individually and collectively. And the reason being is, when we draw everything back, we leave all other thoughts out the way, and we study intuition and what intuition actually is, in its most fundamental form, it is first thought. It's not second thought, third thought, it's first thought. It's the one what we're having or about to have. And the reason why it's important is because we must, once we've had pure intuition, a thought of pure, which is coming from pure intuition, we must then put it into action. It's so important. We're carrying everything we're carrying because we haven't used our intuition. And our intuition now has become clouded. And what happens is we have a first thought and we have a second thought, which then questions it. And then and a third thought, which will then start questioning it more or start doubting it. And sooner or later, more thought, and this is all energy, simple particles of energy. Each thought is a particle of energy. And what happens is, all of a sudden, within 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, that first thought has then been shrouded by several other thoughts, and we've lost it. So it's like, okay, and we have to ask ourselves how many times we do that throughout the day and throughout our lifetime as a whole. So what we're looking at is, as the light shines brighter within us, we're getting closer to our what's called our first thought, where the thought comes in, intuition. It's an intuitive thought, our first thought. We feel that it's correct, and when it feels correct, then we can put it into action. So it's thought, feeling, and action, and it all starts with intuition. In essence, pure intuition. So we're not there yet, but we're moving to a place of pure intuition. If anybody wants to do an exercise with intuition, it's really good example to try. Test your intuition for, a morning up to lunch, or from lunch till 4 o'clock or something. Go with your first thought on every single occasion and see how your life changes. The first thing what will happen in the first stage and the early stages is you will make wrong decisions, and you'll go, well, that can't be pure intuition. It's correct. It's not. It's because the thought what's coming is coming from within us, what's clouded, if that makes sense. So we go, okay, intuition, then right, I just keep going, and eventually what happens, the first thought will be pure, and it will kick in constantly. That's where we're going towards. So that's regarding intuition. I love intuition. I love the subject of it. I know it very well. Sorry, I know it very well. Oh, you muted yourself now, Kelly. You have to mute me and unmute you.
There we go. Thank you for the reminder. She says, now that is good data. That is good data. So well described. I think it's important to talk about what intuition is. We're still experiencing so much of what it can be. I want to go to, and then Colin, please let me know if you have anything to say, but I want to go to another question from Miguel. How can we identify within our energy where the frequency is coming from? Oh, well, again, this is why I think mediumship is so important. It's not a, hey, let me be a reader for you. It's not a, hey, I can do this. I have this skill. It's like Colin was mentioning, it's a part of just what makes us as human, as spirit. It connects us to other frequencies of the universe that we are a part of. And I really think mediumship is sacred, not because it's like, whoa, that's so cool. It's because we get to answer some of these questions through the energetic discovery of ourselves. As we're developing, we become more hyper aware of what frequency is, where it's coming from, and what the language of that is. I've been using kind of the word language a lot to describe a lot of this, because it's really like, we know something is happening, but maybe it sounds like Arabic or French, and we're like, I don't understand. Or, like you see spirit, you feel spirit. Okay, they're in my house. I don't understand, right? But the more you work with it, and mediumship and psychic development and energy healing, you start to discern. And Jennifer McCormick says discernment is key. You start to discern what these things are, and you start to hear through intuition a resounding similarity with other mediums, with other healers, with other psychics. So it's not just our own, oh, this is what's happening in my mind, and isn't this interesting, and let me share this discovery with the world. Absolutely not. It's the illumination of what is. And we can identify that within our own energy by being a steward to understanding that this is a road to truth. And again, I'm using the word getting really curious of what's on that road. In really good mediumship sessions or psychic sessions, you know the name of the loved one. You know the color of their eyes. You know who it is. You know it's grandma. You don't even need the evidence. Grandma's with me, right? The message is for the daughter. The message is for someone right here. The message is for a lady with brown hair. Like, you can just go there. And so it's the awakening of this part within us. How can we identify where within our energy, where the frequency is coming from? The last thing I'll say on that, Miguel, is sometimes we are netting another energy coming on in, and we go, this is coming from outside of us. And in another way, we go, I'm identifying this as coming from me, and I'm sending it out, and I'm influencing the situation. So are we being impressed and changing from something more intense or built up than ourselves, or are we actually influencing others with a built up state? Where is the predominance of the frequency coming from? Sometimes it's us sometimes we are really built up in a frequency and we are causing a muck, or we're causing healing. It's rather fascinating like that. So I'm gonna put it like that, Miguel. I hope that answers the question. And Colin, I'm giving it to you. Oh, I gotta put it back up.
Well, beautiful question, Miguel. Absolutely beautiful. And the answer is very simple. Stillness. When the mind becomes still, it becomes exceptionally receptive. And in that reception, as in a receiver, we can define with clarity where that particular frequency is coming from, who it belongs to, what it belongs to, whether it's one of our own frequencies, within our own field of energy, or whether it's classed as, and I'm saying this very cautiously, but I'm still going to say it, or whether it's coming from the external space around us, what maybe spirit inhabit or cosmic beings inhabit. So it boils down to stillness. It's a bit like when the mind's chaotic, it's difficult to identify and get a clear picture of where the thought is coming from, what the thought is about, and what energies are moving. But when the mind becomes still, just like a turbulent ocean, when the mind becomes still, everything becomes calm and quiet. There's a quietness, and when a single frequency comes in, it's amplified. We can sense it, and we can also follow it back to its source, and we can find the source of that frequency. So it's really boiling down to stillness. And again, stillness or silence, whatever word we use. And out of that is the clear mind. This is kind of like, everything is about clarity. Clarity can reveal everything we need. And when our mind's contracted, our energy feels contracted, then everything's compressed and it's difficult to think clearly. But when the mind's relaxed and it's expanded and open with stillness, like a still pond, it can sense that frequency. It literally go, this is a cosmic being. This is a discarnate soul. This is a mischievous spirit. This is a thought from such and such person. I'm feeling this energy, it connects to that particular person. Or I'm feeling this frequency and it's informing me there's going to be an event somewhere in a location on the planet somewhere. So, everything is revealed in stillness and clarity. Brilliant question, Miguel. If anybody wants to develop in any way, shape or form, and especially their spiritual abilities, but their spirituality, their sense of cosmic awareness, then stillness is the key. Stillness is the key to the soul.
Absolutely. I think that's very wise. Before, whether it's a demonstration or a session, and the more, I guess, energetic responsibility I have, or the more I need to center myself, I bring in a lot of stillness. And so I make still what is busy within my mind or my energy. So I go, okay, now I can do what I need to do. Or I make peace with what I cannot change and give it stillness. And all is accomplished much easier and much sharper in the energetic world with stillness. So I think that's incredibly important to talk about. It's incredibly powerful. And I feel my most healthiest and most agile when there's a stillness within me in various parts. Jade, I think also what Colin said can lend on what you're talking about with dreaming. She's saying, I dream and it happens for real. I mean, that's what Colin is talking about with knowing, accessing your knowingness, and in a state of the dream world, you're still and you're receiving, and then you're getting something that's very reality based. So that's something we could drift into. That's very important to talk about. Then that's very real. Premonitions and dream reading is very, very real. Someone wanted to ask you though, Colin, as you were talking, where is it? Tanya. Colin, does this reflect internal chakra work for frequency direction?
I like your mind, Tanya. Yes, 100%. Everything is connected to chakra work. Everything. So, and I'm going to try and be very brief. This is going to be difficult, but I'm going to try and bring it into as short a sentence as I can. Clearly, the chakras are moving at the minute more than they've ever moved. We're ascending, the consciousness is ascending through the chakras. So we can almost liken, and don't take this as literal, but it's a rough example. We can almost liken this shifting to the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th dimension beyond. We can lock them into the chakras, the 7 basic chakras. We know there's a multitude of chakras, but in this case, so we go, okay, so in the 3rd dimension, we've been working from the sacral, the solar plexus. Okay, so we've gone from the base. If we imagine the base as the 1st dimension, sacral as the 2nd dimension, solar plexus as the 3rd, and now the 4th dimension is the heart center. And then we're going into the 5th and 6th, up to the throat chakra, etc., etc. The answer is very firmly yes, and very clearly yes, because when we look at past history, when we go all the way back to Neanderthals, etc., they worked off their base instinct. Literally, they was working from their base chakra, but their awareness was present. So there was in constant survival mode, etc. Then as evolution played out, we came up through the chakras. So then we evolved it all the way through medieval times, etc., into Victorian times, industrial age, etc., where we can see where each chakra, as a consciousness is moving up through each chakra, it's expanding. And in that expansion, we're finding more abilities. Our mind is becoming more capable. And now we're at the point between the heart and the crown easily. So this is where we're talking about the 4th dimensions up to 7th. Okay. We can leave the other dimension beyond the crown for another occasion. But in this context, this cosmic change and these waves as they're coming in, they're expanding and opening up the chakras. We can, and this is maybe some of you might find this important, beneficial, but the chakras are directly related to the ether, the vacuum of space. And so if you imagine a chakra as a spiral or vortex, or even a grid-like form, and every time the grid crosses, where there's a cross, there's a wheel or vortex, which is called the chakra. Okay, so we've got thoughts and emotions flowing, and when the thoughts and emotions flow, they create this vortex of energy when they connect to each other or when they cross each other. It creates the vortex of energy, and what's flowing through that vacuum is our thoughts and emotions. So we know on each chakra, in that vortex of energy, in that vacuum of space, our thoughts and emotions are stored. Now, as the change is happening, as the awakening takes place, or this cosmic event is occurring, and all these wonderful light rays are sweeping across the earth through our physical body and through our energy field of energy, it's sending light into that vacuum, and it's bringing those old thoughts and emotions up to the surface because it wants to clear the chakras. The chakras must be clear and fluid and working and functioning in their natural state, their natural ratio and frequencies. And that's where we can see we're evolving. And as we ascend, that expansion takes place. And that's where we start to begin to communicate with other worlds and other dimensions and other realms, because we're literally letting go of the old and transforming it from the point of our chakras. So it's, you know, there's a lot to this, Tony. You've brought up a very specific and important point at this moment for our evolution, to our next stage of evolution. The chakras are phenomenally important to us. And if we imagine where our thoughts and emotions are going through, just skipping slightly, because somebody's just reminded me, when we look at our own chakras, the chakras create the etheric web, the ether, the vacuum of space. So our thoughts and emotions are flowing all the way around our field of energy within our etheric web. Then we can place an etheric web around the planet, the physical web. That too has got its own physical ethereal body. It's got its physical body, it's got its ethereal body. Now imagine all the thoughts throughout the stages of evolution, both good and bad, what's been stored on the etheric plane, within the etheric web. Now, a lot of the work, what we're doing at the moment, as we're ascending or becoming lighter, that light is also going into the etheric web of the planet, and it's flushing out all the negative aspects, all the blockages, what's been in the etheric web, and it's purifying and cleansing the etheric web of the planet. Previously, and even up to today, and when this brings us back full circle, why in trying to understand the chaos and the confusion and this horrendous situation on the planet, which is going to get worse, we need to be prepared for that in the coming months and years. What's the reason why this is taking place is because forces on the planet have utilized the negative energy from the etheric web. Like we utilize energy, forces on the planet have also utilized that energy. Well, you imagine the etheric web, all the wars and conflicts throughout history of this planet, never been cleaned or cleared or transformed, is within the etheric web. But now it's changing. The etheric web of the planet is also coming to life, so to speak, and getting cleansed and cleared. And this is part of this great phenomenal change, what we're a part of. And we are actually bringing it about. So, and we're talking about chakras, which is the meeting point of the vacuum of energies. Inside that vacuum, if you want me to go a bit further, inside the vacuum of the ether, that space, we can imagine wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum, and we can imagine the wavelengths represent our emotions, energy, emotion, and then on top of those, each peak of those waves is one of our single thoughts. So there's a mass of waves and a mass of thoughts, and when we put them to the spectrum, the 7 colors of the spectrum, the electromagnetic spectrum, inside the ether, and that's why it's called. The ether is the vacuum of space between electricity and magnetism. So it must have electromagnetic wavelengths in the vacuum. So it all fits together. Everything is here for us to see. Oh, I wasn't expecting that one to come out, Kelly.
Chakras and plugins and energetic natures. It's interesting. It really is. We have so much more to talk about, so you're gonna have to come on again. We are at the turning point of the psychic hour where we're gonna start to take a breath and wind down. Grace says thanks and gratitude for this amazing show, bringing insight and light. Blessings to you both. Thank you so much, Grace. It's always great to see you. Thank you for stopping by. It goes so fast, as I say. What are the final words that you'd like to share with everybody? Like a insight, an inspiration, a channel, whatever you'd like to share with us before we transition. Oh, there you go.
Let me just, if it's okay, I'll just see if there's any thoughts coming through then, Kelly. It's important that you Be the light which you came here to be. It's important to not just recognize and know intellectually that we walk amongst you, but the great change is now present. And therefore it's important to clear your space, to empty the mind, to be still, and to ascend your consciousness to those higher planes where we will meet and greet you, and understand that the wheels of the cosmos are most definitely and most clearly changing. And there is no distance between your world and our world. And each moment we are present with you, and we are but a thought away. We can step in you and out of you at a moment's notice. Trust the change, trust the transition, trust yourself, and allow the light of your soul to expand without limitations, without fear, and trust that the ascension is embracing the very center point of each and every soul at this minute. And know that we love each of you. And in this ascension and expansion process, we are about to make contact in the most profound way. Thank you. You're muted, Kelly.
We're playing mute tag. Thank you, Colin, for helping. You can find Colin on multiple platforms: Facebook, Instagram at the Norca Consciousness Group, and also his website, just Etheric Web. I'm gonna post that so you can jot that down and connect with Colin. Thank you, everybody, for being with us here today. I'm going to wish you a wonderful weekend. And for those who celebrate Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. We will be talking to you very soon. Michael Christopher and Jennifer Lee, they're going to be having Spiritually Imperfect Sunday instead of tonight. So they will be broadcasting in just a couple of days. And we might have a surprise Sunday broadcast somewhere in the mix too. But until then, please go with love, luck, and light. And don't forget to live, everybody. Take care. Bye. Oh, wait. Colin, I want Colin to say bye too.
Thank you, Kelly. It's an honor and pleasure, deeply. And thank you so much for the invite. And thank you to everybody what's been present. This collective, what you're building, is having a phenomenal effect on helping us all go forward, Kelly. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Colin.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that so much. To be continued with Colin. Take care, everybody. Bye.